So, about 10 months ago, I stood on the old state capitol, stood on the steps of the old state capitol in Springfield, Illinois, the building where Abraham Lincoln once served. His desk and stovepipe hat is still in the building. In the city where I served as a state legislator before I went to Washington. I stood on these steps in a frigid cold day. It felt a little like today, maybe even colder, with about 17,000 of my closest friends. And I announced that I would be embarking on an unlikely journey to change America. I did not choose to run because of some long-held ambitions. I know people have been foraging through my kindergarten papers, but that is not why I decided to run. I did not choose to run because I thought it was somehow owed to me. I decided to run because of what Dr. King called the fierce urgency of now. The fierce urgency of now, because I believe there's such a thing as being too late. And that hour is almost upon us. We are at a defining moment in our history. Our nation is at war. Our planet is in peril. Our healthcare system is broken, and our economy is out of whack. We've got CEOs making more in 10 minutes than ordinary workers are making in an entire year, and it's the CEOs who got the tax breaks, and workers are left holding the bag. Our education system, despite the slogans, still leaves millions of children behind, unable to compete in this international economy. Our retirement system is in tatters, leaving seniors insecure. In this defining moment, we cannot afford to wait. We can't wait to provide health care to people who need it. We cannot wait to provide good jobs and good wages and a pension you can count on. We cannot wait to fix our schools. We cannot wait to halt global warming. We cannot wait to bring an end to this war in Iraq. We cannot wait. We cannot wait. And it is because I determined that the size of these challenges outstripped the capacity of a broken and divided politics to solve, that I decided to run because I was positive. I had a conviction that the American people were hungry, were desperate for something new, for a different kind of politics, for a politics that would be focused on our common values and our common ideas, on a politics that was more about practicality than ideology, for a politics that delivered common sense and straight talk instead of PR and spin. Most of all, I decided to run because I was betting on you. Because I believed and continue to believe that the real agents of change in this country are the American people. That the American people are not as divided as our politics would suggest. That we are decent and generous, and we are willing to work hard and sacrifice for future generations. And that if we could just mobilize those voices, if we could pull those voices together to challenge the special interests, but to also challenge ourselves to be better. Then there was no problem that we could not solve, and there was no destiny that we could not fulfill. And let me tell you something. 10 months later, Iowa, you have vindicated my faith in the American people. 10 months later, my bet has paid off. 10 months later, we stand on the brink of doing something very, very special right here in Iowa. Because of you. You've come out in the blistering heat, and you've come out in the bitter cold. You've come out not just to cheer, but to challenge, to ask tough questions, to lift the hood, and kick the tires, take all the candidates out for a test drive. You've given everybody a fair hearing. You've listened to our plans. You've been bombarded by mail and phone calls, and I have approved this message. And so you've earned the special place that you play in our democracy because you take this process so seriously. Now, I have to say that we as candidates like to think it's all about us, but I recognize that part of the reason we've seen such enormous crowds, part of the reason that you've all been so eager and anxious following this election is you know that next year we will be going into the voting booth and selecting the next president of the United States, and you know that the name George W. Bush will not be on the ballot.